What's up, guys? Thanks. Welcome back to the channel, Gaslit News. I'm not coming on camera for this video because my allergies are kicking my arse. And so it's like not gonna happen. And I didn't want to be like struggling while I was trying to literally and I didn't want to wait to like get this out because I shout out to JMS. You guys know I love JMS channel. JMS did a video about like cloning the other day, and there was something I saw about Paul McCartney. So I guess I should probably start with Paul McCartney. People were saying, so literally I put in Paul McCartney 1966. That's the first thing I did, and the first thing that came up was Paul is dead. And so shout out to wikipedia.com. They're trying to say that Paul is dead is an urban legend and conspiracy theory alleging that English musician Paul McCartney of the Beatles died in 1966 and was secretly replaced by a lookalike. The rumor began circulating in 1966, gaining broad popularity in September 1969 following reports on American college campuses. Right, because kids know kids and people know people. According to the theory, McCartney died in a car crash, and to spare the public from grief, the surviving Beatles, aided by Britain's M15, replaced him with a McCartney lookalike, subsequently communicating the secret through subtle details of their albums. Proponents perceived clues among elements of Beatles songs and cover artwork. Clue hunting proved infectious, and by October 1969 had become an international phenomenon. Rumors declined after Life published an interview with McCartney in November 69. Bro, this is so freaking obvious that this is exactly what happened. You guys, you should know by now. The country doesn't, like, all this stuff is to make money. It doesn't, like, it's not about you. They didn't care about you guys' grief. They literally took the Pledge of Allegiance out of school. Like, they don't care and then call themselves a patriotic country. No, they don't care about your grief, okay? This was about making money because they were afraid. They kind of say it right then and there. If you guys are grieving, you're going to be too busy grieving over the death of this person. You're not, the band is broken up. The band is not the same, because if your grief is going to be so strong that it's like the label knows about it and it's going to grip you, then what do you think that means? That means you're grieving over this. Ultimately, first it'll be Paul being gone, but then it'll be the band. The band is no longer the band. You guys are never going to look at the band the same because you guys know that that's not Paul. And for all we know, because I wasn't alive at that time, for all we know, Paul made that band. He made it what it was. And so this is about money. And so they're like, no, we need to preserve this band because we can't deal with the loss of the money. Okay, that's legit what it is. And when I'm looking at things like this, like I found this picture, and it's on a French website. It was on a French website, FranceTVinfo.com. I'll find it and I'll put it in the thing. The link will be in the description. So I gotta get here with these guys. Okay, so while we have them on screen, I want you guys to take a really good look at these two completely different men. Even the location of their ears is different, and you gotta wonder, why would he like proudly have his hair cut in a style before 1966? He likes his style, but then after 1966 he wants to cover his ears. He wants to wear his hair longer, closer to his ears. No, it's not about times changing like that. I literally googled a 1956 picture of Paul McCartney and a 1967 picture of Paul McCartney, and it's like Google's already onto it. Because again, when I first put in Paul McCartney 1966, they want to already deter you from doing any more digging. Just shut it down, go away. It's an urban legend. No, this is about money, And it's not right because this actual man is dead. So that means he didn't actually have a funeral. He wasn't actually sent off the right way. It's so wicked. And it's like the band members only gave the fans clues over time because of guilt. I feel like it was guilt, but not only that, because again, grief was not enough. So why would guilt be enough? It's just feeling money. Once they saw that they could preserve the band by faking like this new McCartney and still make money, they realized that you guys weren't dumb and they were going to make even more money off of the phenomenon that began after that and lasted for only 3 years. But the problem was you guys were digging so much and so hard that the phenomenon ended within 3 years. They said, well, that's enough. And even with that whole number 3, shout out to Black Balloon. You go to the channel, he'll tell you all about that, the numbers games that they play. So then there's that, right? So then I'm looking at this guy and there's clear differences. So here's the thing where I come in very so for 2 reasons this got my attention, because I think at this point we already know that they've been cloning people, right? You have to know that they've done this and this is a thing. But here again, this is completely unfair for what they did, because this is as if this man's life is living on, and it's not. A great deception. So in any event, doppelgangers. I've always been able to point out doppelgangers for some reason. I've been really good at it. It was actually a thing that I did at a job that I had in a doctor's office, and so that was like it became a thing called Doppelganger Friday, right? Because I couldn't just keep every single day, and then I literally wanted to give like a prize, right, for like if somebody could actually guess it, because I was always right, and I was noticing that all the patients were agreeing with me, and it wasn't just that, and they would be like, this is crazy, because all I had to go off of, right, was like other patients or celebrities, but I would always pinpoint a doppelganger to the point where no one ever disagreed with me. They were so, and even this doctor, this is a private doctor's office, he's got his own thing, and actually that was, I can't go into more of that, but in any event, the doctor himself whom I worked for, he entertained this. We had Doppelganger Fridays because I was literally that good. Well, you gotta understand, if the doctor agrees, you got him. You know what I mean? But it wasn't just that. Again, the patients agreed. So I'm good at this, okay? And you don't have to be. You can just, in this case, look at Paul McCartney in 1956. Look at this man. Look at his eyes. This is the man on the left, right? That's my left. Should be your left on the video, I'm not sure, but it's the short hair, right? His eyes go down. They absolutely go down, but not that far down, and they're wide. They're wide, they're sparkling. They're wide, and they're sparkling. These are wide doe eyes. So, and you're not going to say, oh, because he's high in this picture. No. What about this one? And this one? And this one. Okay? So in 1956, this man's, we'll move on from the eyes. Well, not just yet. Let's look at the eyebrows, right? They were so close. They're like, we can do this. We can totally do this with eyebrow shaping. Not so much. And that's why the haircut has to be completely different, because there's actually like the space between this man's eyebrows and his forehead is a lot shorter. The real Paul McCartney is shorter, where this new Paul McCartney has a long forehead. He's a long forehead. So they thought that the eyebrow thing would really work because we gotta hike him up regardless. But just look, ladies, hairdressers, look at, you see his hairline is underneath here. There's no way on the left that's the same space of the hairline and the bangs would end up right there. You cannot make that same haircut on this head. This man even has thicker hair. All right, let's move on to the ears. His ears are way up here, and you guys see that. His ears are like, so you could go from the end of the line, the corner of his eye, straight to his sideburn. Eye sideburn. Right there. Eye sideburn. Right? This guy, Paul McCartney, after 1966, his eye is all the way up here, and you have to go down here and around the corner and to east-west bubble. You know whose it's what's it. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. There's no straight line. It even disappears. And what? God, this is so unnerving because there's no such thing as coincidence. So you mean to tell me there's going to be three different. So there's very important aspects to this haircut right now, because some of you could say, well, you can't see the line from his eye to his sideburn because his sideburn is longer in that picture. Right. But I'm telling you, you can. I'm telling you, it's not that far space. If you look over to the left, it's not that far space. But that's another form of the trickery. Now his haircut has changed so that his ears are covered. The space between his eye and his sideburn, it's distorted a bit. You can't see that. You can't see that from the stage. You can't see that he's walking. You can't. The only people that know are the people in the band, and that the guilt from the band is what kept this phenomenon going. Oh, you guys, they're putting these little secret things in the albums and this and that, and it was few and far and frequent whenever it could be, because they didn't have so much to do with it, but whenever they could, they did it. And again, it was facilitated because it made money. But at that point when he did that interview, that was a sign to the band, you guys stop it, or guess what? It's gonna be over for everybody. Right? And then maybe it would have been another car crash. And maybe somebody else would have shown up with shorter eyes, a different haircut, a longer hairline, a longer forehead. This is insane. All right, look at this guy's chin. Let's move on. This is ridiculous. This is not the same man. You don't see, men grow until 21. You're gonna grow until 21. You're not gonna grow extra or longer facial features. However, your bone structure is there. Like, it's there. Like, you're like, that's like, you look at a sonogram, you look at a baby on a sonogram, the bone structure is there. It's actually there. Right? They just grow into those same shapes, but just bigger, right? But it's the same shape. This man, his entire face shape is different from the man that died in 1966. Because I'm not gonna entertain that. Paul McCartney absolutely died in 1966. This gentleman over here. So, and this gentleman, the real Paul McCartney has like a wider neck. You can clearly see his Adam's apple right here. His face is shorter, so you can see more of his neck. And this other gentleman, it's so long, it's so wide. It's like he's a different kind of Englishman. It's like I don't even know if one is French and one is an Englishman or Irish. They are not of the same tribe. They're not of the same tribe, guys. That's completely true. Okay, so now I'm going to move on. I spend some of my free time watching Netflix, and it's like one of these guilty pleasures at this point, because they're really sinister, right? And it's a bit unnerving. I don't like how, they keep on sticking in this whole lesbian. I feel like you're forcing it, though. You're forcing it on people, that whole lesbian gay agenda. Like, don't do that to me. In any event, Netflix is, as far as I've always felt in my spirit, but I can see now, Hollywood period has been showing us the absolute reality of our situation, like the horrific, scary reality. They've been making it seem glitzy, glamorous, and just sit down and pay this money to see all this, wonder works. But it's been absolutely real. And so Netflix offered a different kind of, I would say, a view of the reality that we've been living, right? Like unfolding other things that they've been doing, and just kind of a really different way. All right, so the USS Callister. If you guys are not familiar with the USS Callister, it is a part of a series on Netflix called Black Mirror, in which this man, he's a gamer creator, and he works at a gaming company. He's an introvert, and the game is so popular because what he's done is he's able, oh God, he's done something horrific. So we're actually on season 2 of the USS Callister. So initially, what we do know about it is that he's created this game, and somehow he was able to get people their likeness inside of the game. People in his office where he worked. Is very sinister. So he's created an alternate world. So it's a game, but in the first one, I do believe the game isn't live. This is he's a game creator, but this particular game that he has them in, it isn't live. He has like a separate game that he plays, and that's what he has their likeness trapped in. But they can feel it. They are experiencing this thing. Like, they're not sleeping at night. Like, when they go to sleep at night, they are in his game, and they're like, getting beat up, but they don't like die. But they do, and they feel these things. It's horrible. What he's done, because they work in his office, he's an introvert. He had a crush on this girl, I believe, and I think she just didn't notice him, or maybe possibly like somebody else. So these are all the people behind him, or all the people that were in his office that he has in his game. And this guy is actually his partner. This guy is like a real jerk, the guy behind him in life. And this guy, that's the captain of the Callister in the video game, he's actually really like a geek, and just really like, people get over him kind of thing. So it's really sinister though what he's doing, because it's like they can feel it. So it's like their spirits, right? It's like their likeness, their spirits are going through this like at night. And so how he's done it is he's taken a piece of all of their DNA. Guys, stop eating. Oh my gosh, don't put your lunch boxes in the fridge at work. That is something that somebody warned me about a long time ago, and then I've heard it like, more as the years, go by, you get older, you hear that more. You don't really hear that a lot when you're young though. You don't hear that like when you have your job and you're in your teens and your early 20s. You don't really hear that. So please don't do that. So anyways, he got their DNA from things like that. Lipstick, coffee cups, hair, lunch boxes. So he got their DNA. That's how he was able to get them into this game. So this is very serious, like, because it's their consciousness. So there's people in the game, and so now we're on to people have died. So if you're gonna look at Black Mirror, now we're on USS Callister into infinity, bro. This is really bad, and I'm probably gonna have to watch USS Callister 1 again, because I could have sworn that they came up with some kind of solution so that they'd be done, but maybe they didn't, so that this could happen. Probably so. But like, yeah. So USS Callister Infinity, the game goes live in this one. The game has gone freaking live. They did not make it out. And when they're dying, and that's why they're dying. Oh my gosh, because the game went live. And so other players are able to play, and the only way they can stay alive is getting credits, like stealing, being pirates in the game to steal credits from other live game players, or they're dying. But here's the thing, I don't know if they're dying in real life at the office too. I don't know, I can't remember that. It's so crazy. So it's gotten really bad now. So I had to go explain the first so that you can understand this part. Now, in this second part of the series, we finally find out how exactly he was doing this. So and that brings me to Paul McCartney in 1966. There is a box. A box that he created, that they were testing some time ago for time travel. Some sort of a, like, whatever the case may be. And it didn't, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, it was testing for cloning. It was a box to test for cloning, and it didn't go the way they wanted it to go. So what ultimately happened is this man used that box to trap this man, the geek man, to trap his likeness inside of the game so that he would build the game 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. He would never stop building the worlds in the game, so it could be like the biggest game, the most phenomenal game in infinity. So he literally trapped his partner's likeness inside of this, by way of this box. He trapped him in this world so he can continue to, so that the likeness of him continue to build the game. So the real him is actually like really trapped there, building the game forever. Okay, so what I'm saying is, right, with the whole Paul McCartney thing, I feel like his soul, and this is what Netflix is telling us, because there's this thing called Saturn's Cube.
With structure, time, and limitation. But the black cube explains a deep, ancient symbolism. In occult traditions, the cube of Saturn represents a cosmic prison or a force of restriction. Saturnian symbolism was the Greek god Kronos, who was associated with devouring his children in a metaphorical or literal sense of human sacrifice, representing the destructive yet cyclical nature of time. The cube might also tie into a mysterious hexagonal storm at Saturn's north pole, reinforcing its cosmic connection. Is the black cube a symbol of control? Is the black cube a symbol of control? Is the black cube a symbol of control?
So that's what I'm saying, bro. I feel like Netflix is telling us that Saturn's Cube is real, and that's why that's how they got Paul McCartney. Like, his soul is trapped in Saturn's Cube, and he was performing. He was still performing. They were able to like thrive off of his likeness and off of his energy and off of his talent and his aura and his literal soul. They were able to capture it in Saturn's Cube. That's where they held it. And you know, the whole doppelganger with doppelganger Fridays and all this kind of thing, you know, that made me think of another thing too, where I think that they're able to hold people's, like, if not their complete soul, but several other people, like normal people. I think they're able to like capture things about the people and harness them and use them, and then like, yeah, harness and then like redirect and give out, distribute to other people that would otherwise not have those gifts, talents, and or capabilities, guys. Alright, guys, and I hope you're capable of understanding this video, and if that's the case, like this video, share this video, and subscribe to the channel, because I'm definitely going to come back with a part 2, because I feel like I may have left things out. And then and drop it down in the comments if there's anything else that you want me to, like, you know, dwell on or focus on as it pertains to the subject. Alright, guys, I'll see you next time.